Okay, so I unboxed the motherboard and the components that I'm going to put on the motherboard. So I'll just explain to you, this is the motherboard that I got. See, there's lots of brands. Generally, these are the memory slots right here. This is where the processor gets mounted to right here, and then there's these clips. That's for mounting a fan to the processor. So with processors, they get hot. You have to keep them cool. So the one that I bought comes with a fan, which is nice. Also, there's expansion ports here. So these are PCI Express ports. These are where the memory card goes, or any other device that you need, depending on what kind of computer you're building. The battery. There's also a chipset that's underneath here. This is another fan here. There's another chip under here that works with the processor, keeps things cool. And then there's under here is a M.2 slot. So there is where I'm going to mount this. This device is called an M.2 SSD drive. It's a 1 terabyte drive. It's basically another stick of memory, but that's where I'm going to mount the operating system and the programs. These are nice because they're extremely fast. No moving parts like traditional hard drives. So that's going to get mounted underneath here. This is also another heat shield. So when I get to that, I'll show you what that looks like. And also, if I flip it around, you'll see there's these are all the ports that you'll see on the back of the computer. And then around the board, there's various places for power and interfacing with the case. So there's power here, there's jumpers and cables, power. So there's going to be all kinds of connections that we make when we put things together. And what comes with this particular motherboard, which I like, is it has built-in Wi-Fi. So this is an antenna. So I'll mount that. It comes with a couple of data cables. And this also gets mounted into the case. It's called an I/O shield. So this is basically just so it makes the ports look finished. They'll match up when I mount it in the case. This is the memory. So there's a lot of variety of memories. These kind of have the lighting. They light up. Not required, but these are the memory. So the one thing with memory is you have to make sure that the memory you get works with the processor. So when you find a processor you want, you can research on using websites to find compatible memory. So you want to make sure that the memory you get actually works with the processor, and the manufacturers for the motherboard do lots of tests, and they'll have it on their website what memory brands and model numbers have been tested with CPUs and the motherboard. So you want to make sure you can buy any memory and it'll most likely work, but if you want optimal performance, you want to make sure you get something that's actually been tested. So these have been tested with this motherboard and the processor. So that's that. This is the actual processor. I bought a Ryzen. This is AMD. So these are so this is wrapped in plastic, so normally you wouldn't want to touch anything that's gold because those are the contacts and you don't want to get oil. It might impact. So this is a Ryzen 7. So this is the processor. That's how big it is. And it's going to go right in that slot. And this is the fan. So what's nice about this is when you buy the processor, they include a fan, which is nice because it eliminates having to shop around for a different fan. Does it fit? Does it work? This, it's going to work. And the other thing is you'll notice underneath here, there's what's called some thermal paste that makes contact with the processor lid. And basically these are all metal fins attached to a fan, all designed to pull heat away. That's all this is, because basically if the processor gets too hot, it could actually melt and then your processor won't work. So cooling is very important. They also have extreme options of doing water cooling, and that's advanced stuff that I'm not interested in, but some people do build water cooled systems. And you can buy any kinds of fans, but I like the stuff that comes all together because it makes it a little bit more simple.